All right. Even though it says we're live, I think there's just a little bit of lag. So I'm going to talk as filler until I see the stream pick up here in YouTube, and then we'll know that we're live.
No problem.
Okay.
Sounds
It
good.
says we're live, but I don't see my screen. Well, welcome everyone. We are just making sure that the stream is up and running here, and well, I guess usually I see the stream. Maybe
I
this is
will try to check it from phone as well.
yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it now. Maybe just a little extra leg today. So, anyways, I've gone back and looked a couple times, and it seems like my expectation of when the stream was actually started and when it actually started didn't quite match up. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't get the beginning here cut off. It looks like we're good to go though. So welcome everyone. Today we're talking with Peter Manov and Lucas Sismus about some of the latest Suricata releases. In particular, these releases are addressing a number of CVEs. So this is hopefully not only a prompting to, of course, upgrade, but also give you a little bit more explanation and some history and stuff about why to upgrade. So hopefully enjoy the series here or the live stream today. Let's see. Next live stream I have planned around October 20th. Hannah Kane Latonic will be joining to talk about data sciences. She's also the most recent episode of the podcast, the Behind the Binary podcast. So if you want to check out what she has to say, talking about machine learning and realistic applications of data sciences to malware analysis, reverse engineering problems, check out that episode. Okay, that's enough of me. Peter, Lucas, welcome. Thanks for joining the stream today.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Peter, you've been on the stream a number of times, so welcome back. You've got your fifth stream badge that I just awarded to you. Lucas,
wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, first time. Thanks for joining today. Peter, you're longtime Suricata, part of the community. You run Stamus Networks. You have a tremendous amount of open source contributions. The Selks distribution is one of many great distribution to check out if you're wanting to learn more about Suricata. Lucas, I think you joined the team or started working more with the team as I was leaving, so we didn't get a chance to work together too much. But you joined a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, I think this is my fifth year.
Fifth year,
If I
okay.
counted right. So yeah, it's been going fast, and we did some great work so far.
Yeah,
it's been very fast. I actually couldn't believe it's 5. I'm like, it felt like yesterday. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I met Kelly, the executive director, at a Gen Cyber camp, which is, if you're not familiar, the NSA in the United States sponsor these camps to teach kids about cybersecurity stuff. And Kelly came to campus. It's been now probably 10 years. So it's kind of hard to believe because it feels like it was just the other day I was going up there helping teach those camps. So yeah, I guess.
But we still look the same though, It's okay.
Oh, I know. I tell the kids all the time. They see pictures of me from, in the photo rolls, and it's like, "Oh, Dad, you look so young." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I look exactly the same as I did in that photo 10 years ago. You just got a beard.
Literally exactly the same. Yes.
Okay, well, what are we here to talk about today?
We're here to talk a little bit about the new release cadence and CVEs and how we fix those on Suricata and what you should be aware of. I'm not really sure, Lucas, if you're sharing your screen or if you want to share your screen. We have a few slides to take you over as well, and how you should approach this beyond stating the obvious, like, okay, there is an update or upgrade release now, go ahead and update. Some of these things that we do, that the team does as well, of course, is bugs and fixes that need immediate attention. And this is more like to get you into the mood of an understanding of not just what there is a CVE, but what's the impact, how you can understand more, what's the process around that we have, and so that ultimately you walk away with, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is how it's done. And of course, to answer any Q&A. Lucas, did I manage to do an okay job summing that up, or anything to add there?
That's perfect. Perfect summary from your side.
Okay. So I'll drop our videos here, most of us. Lucas, I'll leave you up just so we're not stomping over your slides. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to just drop those wherever you're tuning into the stream from, and I'll do my best here to kind of weave those in and ask Lucas. We'll have Q&A at the end as well, so if you have any questions and you want to save it for the end, that's great. That's another great opportunity. So, all right, Lucas, it's all yours.
Thank you. So these introductions, I think we've covered that. But let me just introduce Suricata, just to be sure everyone is on the same page. Suricata is basically the open source network analysis and threat detection engine that's used out there. It's used by many organizations to secure their networks and assets. And of course, it can not only produce the detection outputs, but also other network metadata as protocol transactions, just the information about network flows. But it may also do conditional or full PCAP recordings and extract files. So whatever you need, some security analysis tool for, Suricata is out there to help you. Considering today we have a session focused on CVEs, specifically in Suricata, I first thought we might just do a little bit of introduction. So CVEs stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. So it's, let's say, some kind of identification of a known cybersecurity vulnerability in some application. That is because just to make sure we are not calling the vulnerabilities by some ambiguous names, we just assign it one ID, like the CVE, usually the year of the submission of the cybersecurity vulnerability, and its respective ID. Sometimes you may find that some CVEs have, well, let's say CVE 2017, but were published in 2025, and it is because it's the submission year and not the publication year. CVEs is not actually there to tell you how to exploit the vulnerability or what's the specific root cause for that exact vulnerability, but more importantly, it's to gather all the relevant information together so people actually know what vulnerability it's talking about. CVEs are CVE IDs are actually published by CNAs, so CVE numbering authorities. There are a couple of them in the cybersecurity space. Actually, Suricata submits to GitHub, which that assigns some CVE ID to the submitted vulnerabilities. Another important term when talking about CVEs is the CVSS, so Common Vulnerability Scoring System. It's kind of just a number to tell you how critical the vulnerability is. Generally, is divided into low, medium, high, and critical severity of the vulnerability. And yeah, it's an basically open framework that allows to calculate such score, and it goes through multiple versions. It's kind of interesting to keep an eye on. Okay, and why are there even CVEs? I think I would like to state example from the past. So basically, Suricata started publishing CVEs in 7.0.3. Before, when there was a vulnerability, Suricata just did the bug fix and somehow mingled that fix within other commits, but didn't tell anyone. That meant that people had a false perception. There are no real Suricata bugs out there or Suricata vulnerabilities, and didn't have much incentive why to upgrade. It also meant that not many people knew about such vulnerabilities, and basically you could say that the vulnerabilities were there, but were not exposed to public. But still, there were some people who knew about them, and there was much larger crowd of Suricata users who didn't know about the CVEs and they were vulnerable to them, to these various attacks or bypasses. So in the end, CVEs is about being transparent during the development process, and gives you clear arguments, let's say, why you should do the upgrade. When there is such a case in which you cannot actually upgrade your Suricata sensors, which during patch releases there shouldn't be really any reason to do that, it at least gives you description of the vulnerability and gives you a chance to mitigate somehow. Sometimes the mitigation is advised directly. Sometimes you need to tie it for or make it for your own environment, basically. So as I mentioned, Suricata submits vulnerabilities to GitHub. When GitHub kind of approves the vulnerability, it adds the CVE to the GitHub Security Advisory, which is like a database of the CVEs. When we look at it, it's a whole bunch of different vulnerabilities of different projects. If we go to actually GitHub OSF Suricata, and when we click on the security tab and advisories, these are...
Maybe, Lucas, if you don't mind, just zoom in a little bit because I see it a bit small. Just FYI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
thanks,
gonna
sir.
say, awesome. Thank you.
So here we see directly all CVEs related to Suricata and which were reported to GitHub GHSA. Okay, and one important thing really to mention about the CVEs, they are publicly disclosed vulnerabilities, of course. So as soon as they are publicly disclosed, they may be used by somebody. By somebody. So that means you usually want to update as soon as possible. But this 2-week window gives you basically the time to conveniently upgrade without worrying that some vulnerabilities will be actually used in the wild. And after these two weeks, you will find all relevant information on this page, let's say, or even in the release notes of Suricata.
So, folks, just to piggyback on that, just make it a little bit clear. So the release is done, and 2 weeks after that, all the information and exact things about the CVEs is available, just so that you can understand. During the release, not during the release, but when we actually release, and that's why the best thing is like to be part of the community on the forum. You get notified on the forum what kind of CVEs are fixed and things like, get like a heads up And then the actual details, as Lucas was mentioning, as they were public, it's the CVEs are published by GHSA 2 weeks after the release. So just so that you're aware. Yeah. Thanks.
And that's forum.suricata.io, right? That's the main community platform.
Yeah, forum.suricata.io, and when we click on, let's say, announcements, we click on Suricata 8.0.1 released, we can clearly see the CVEs and CVE IDs interest. Let me zoom in a little bit again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And that's depending on whether you're running 7 or 8, you can see and understand what what branches or what major versions they affect. Hopefully, most of the folks are running 8, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do the CVEs get? Do you discover those yourselves, or through like fuzzing, or do they get reported from external?
And that's a good point. It's a bit of a mix. So let's say when we click on the vulnerability and we click on, let's say, this one, generally anybody can report the vulnerability, but this one was externally reported, so we credited the person as the reporter, actually. This one. I think the other vulnerabilities were found by fuzzing. Let me quickly check. Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
a good few of those. Yeah, a good few of those are by fuzzing. Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, which is a job great done by one of our colleagues there, Philip. So who's the fuzz master for the team?
Yeah. He's been fuzzing for a while.
I just came up with that. I mean, I just came up with it. Did it sound okay, or
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like something you should take to an AI and make some images. Let's see where that takes you.
There you. Let's do it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. There you go. You cracked the code. There it is.
If the images are good, it's a good nickname. If not,
Okay, and here I have a little overview, basically, why patch releases are important. So I think many people might consider, especially before they considered patch releases as something, they did some maintenance stuff and stuff like that, but we actually fixed bugs, and that was not visible before. Now it's clearly visible, especially also with the severity level of the vulnerabilities that were present in Suricata. And this diagram goes from left to right with the patch releases increasing, and each dot represent one CVE fixed. The color annotation here on the bottom right corner describes the severity level that was fixed. So we fixed many high severity level vulnerabilities. That usually means Suricata can, let's say, segfault or crash during runtime. It might need some special conditions to happen to that, but it's pretty serious vulnerability.
If Suri crashes, does it? What happens to the network traffic that flows through it? Like, say it's in line, is it?
Yeah. So if it's in line, it's basically you lost your connection over there.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's IDS, if it's just monitoring the network, then you lose the visibility, but the network is still going. But yeah, it might just happen to any application, whether it's Suricata, firewall, any application is.
Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Welcome. Just want to welcome Bacon to the stream. Welcome, Bacon. I just got a pig, actually. A friend of ours sold us a pig. I've got more bacon in my freezer right now than I've had ever, so I love bacon. What and is the main difference here in the versions, the 7 and the 8? Like, I know you're doing a lot more with Rust. Is that the 8 branch, or is that both code bases or branches now that has Rust tentacles in it?
Both.
Both. Okay.
In both branches or both major Suricata versions, we already have good good amount of Rust. So let's say in 7, in 7, it was over 10%, and specifically it was used especially for the application layer parsers, because that's often the most vulnerable thing to start with, because packets can be dangerous. You don't know what you are consuming,
Right.
so you want to be as safe as possible. So
So one of the things is also, just sorry to interrupt, Lucas, but just for clarification, maybe some of the viewers don't have the background, but like when you have the main branches 7 and 8, obviously you're better off 8, but nothing new is kind of being introduced into the 7 branch. It's just pitches, like patches, fixes, and similar. Like 8 is the newer, where there are much more features than, let's say, 7, and that's the reason why they're separated. But when they're minor releases like that, as Lucas was mentioning, is just CVE fixes, bug fixes, and similar things. So it's always, especially when it's such a minor release version like .0 something, the effort there is to make sure that from the team that you can actually seamlessly upgrade. It doesn't matter, as long as you're on the 7 branch, for example, or 7.0.11, you can seamlessly upgrade to 7.0.12 without actually having to worry with any backward compatibility or major new features or things that you need to handle now and things like that. Very similarly with 8, but the difference between 7 and 8 is like light years away. I'm exaggerating, but like, you know, 8 and the latest stable main branch has the latest features and all that. So these small version increases, and we started doing that, I think, in February 2024. The CVEs, actually advisories and similar stuff. And the main idea is there is like, if you are sitting on a long-term supported branch, things like that, for example, 8 or 7, you actually can really easily upgrade without having to worry. Because, for example, sometimes, as I'm sure most of us actually have to dangle multiple stacks a day, just put it that way, you know that often enough when you do an upgrade, it's not necessarily goes as you expected. So we're trying actually to stay focused and stable. Like the minor versions, you should be able to upgrade like that without actually having to worry about anything else. I took a little bit of deviation, but I just wanted to make that clear.
I was going to ask you that because I don't have to deal with like production servers and things, but I know that can be a big sticky point. I have a firewall, and every time I try to upgrade it, no matter what, it bricks, and then I have to reinstall the image, and so that has made me freeze the image that I'm on for the last couple of years because I'm tired of having to reinstall it. I can't imagine.
Good point, actually. Yeah, exactly the reason why these minor releases in Suricata are actually meant to be exactly like that. Easy upgrade.
Easy upgrade. Yeah, breaking. I love it because that's that would be a big if it's that seamless and it's just a matter of. I guess, how do you typically upgrade then? Do you just like apt upgrade the package? I suppose it all depends on how you installed Suricata.
Absolutely. Although that's not how you would want to upgrade from 7 to 8. Just because there's a lot more new features in 8. Just like there's a bunch of protocols. In between major versions is a little bit different. So you have to spend your time, understanding what the new things are.
Okay.
But to complete the detour, Peter, there is actually a nice upgrade guide from 7 to 8 where we try to highlight every breaking change. And what does that mean for the user or for the operator? So they can then decide, okay, I might need to actually update this configuration or something like that. So
sure.
So yeah.
That needs a proper planning exercise because there's many new things.
Yeah.
But it's just pseudo upgrade when you are going from 7.0.3 to 7.0.4, let's say, or something like that.
Sure. Okay. Upgrade, restart the service, and hopefully everything should be humming along like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Muhammad, joining from YouTube. I don't know if that's helpful, but still figuring out how to be a live streamer. I got asked
we
about
just say
that on a
hi.
podcast. I was like, how do you make a good podcast? I have no idea. You just like start talking to people and see if other folks tune in. So, okay. Well, what else we got here?
And now we start diving deeper into vulnerabilities fixed in 7.0.12 and 8.0.1 releases. This time we had four CVEs, one targeting the 7 version, and four CVEs targeting the 8.0 version. I think the first one is actually the most critical, and I would definitely recommend you to update or upgrade your Suricata sensors, because it's about TCP session bypass. Essentially, Suricata, as you know, receives all the traffic, but it also reassembles the TCP traffic into like HTTP headers, or even TLS and etc. But attackers might break this reassembly logic when they send multiple SYN packets, so the opening TCP packets with different sequential numbers at the start. Suricata would then get confused why it's seen, I don't know, 5 SYN packets, but with different sequence numbers, and it would, let's say, break the reassembly logic for the specific flow, even if the flow would respond from the other side and continue, it would just remain broken. What does that mean? More practically, it means that in IDS mode, the detection and logging could be bypassed, especially on the reassembled layers. You would still see the detection on the packet-specific detection, but often enough, there are many rules targeting the HTTP headers and others. In IPS mode, the flow may be blocked. It means it depends on your exception policies, whether you allow, let's say, broken traffic to go through or not. But this can be, let's say, almost a good mitigation strategy, that if attacker comes in and the flow is broken, then we just block the flow. Generally, the best workaround around this issue is to upgrade. This upgrade is, of course, painless. You just do the sudo apt upgrade Suricata, and you don't need to reconfigure anything. What I thought of possible indication of exploitation is that you would see more SYN packets than SYN-ACK packets than usual. So the SYN packet is the opening TCP packet. SYN-ACK packet is the confirming packet from the other side, and that would mean somebody is crafting more SYN packets at you than you are replying back. So yeah, that's one possible indicator. Just wanted to put into perspective that it should be higher than usual, because sometimes it might be that the number of SYN packets might be higher than SYN-ACK packets, and it just means that your, I don't know, setup is configured not correctly entirely, but it is.
It might just mean also that is not, there's like the mirror traffic is not correct, or we're talking here. I think we're talking here in a perfect situation where actually everything is, the deployment is tuned up and all working as expected. Because as I said, it might be mirroring, it might have packet drops or loss of traffic somewhere, not due to Suricata and things like that. So in here, I think the idea is, as Lucas was mentioning, you have the system set up, it's up and running like a fine-tuned machine. mean machine, and
Mean
it's doing its
machine.
job. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Then you see indicators like that.
And so if I was trying to use this technique to bypass or this bug, I send a bunch of SYN with different sequence. Then eventually one of those sessions I would establish to do something, as that would have been the logic is confused after so many of these SYN packets with different sequence numbers that eventually one slips through.
Yeah. Generally, it depends on the networking stack of the server. Whichever it picks is the correct sequence number of the correct SYN that to which it initiates the connection. But it's a good basically probability that it will start the connection, the flow, and the flow will keep going. It's just that Suricata will note that, I don't know, it received 10, 20 SYN packets of different sequential numbers, and it will not continue reassembling the flow.
Okay.
Now that you're mentioning that, what makes me think is like sometimes it's probably good to put some sort of a guesstimate for probability of that will happen. You know what I mean? Things like that. So like, you know, what exactly are your chances of actually exploiting that in the wild and things like that? So,
Yeah, I was kind of curious about
just
that
to get
too.
an idea.
Yeah.
I sense the red team or angle coming in there. I'm like, yeah, it's not that easy, you know.
No, it never is, you know. Yeah, and it's just I don't do a lot of network scanning these days. Maybe I never have, but I also I know that your systems are constantly being scanned. You know, so could a certain type of scan. I think they're like I googled it quick because I couldn't remember, but I was pretty sure there was a scan type in Nmap that just sends SYN packets, and would something like that also maybe appear on the surface as somebody trying to exploit this, and what is the likelihood of it? And then you described already, Lucas, the kind of a more appropriate way of detecting if someone really cared. I'm guessing the solution, though, as you said, upgrade and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Upgrade and move on.
Yeah. With this CVE, maybe I again click on GitHub again to review it. Sometimes there are references which, let's say, links to the actual Redmine ticket. But sometimes it's actually good to Google to CVE as well to get more information. So let's pick up the CVE.
Actually, that's a very good point, Lucas, because like we're being so Suricata project has always been very open in everything, in bugs, in features, in coding, in the roadmaps, in you name it. You know, and that's also makes it one of the best parts, big part of the team, because it's like there's no secrets, you know. And as Lucas was just mentioning, it's very easy to actually go on GitHub Clipback, see exactly where this is coming from, see the background, see the code for the fix and all that, and see how it actually evolved. And in this case, you even have like how to reproduce pickups and all those similar things. Yeah, sorry, Lucas, to jump in, but it was like I'm just basically stating the obvious here as you're moving through the screens.
Yeah. So essentially, here here we actually have within the Redmine ticket actually the PCAP to exploit it. But when I was going through the GitHub, I couldn't find the actual fix to this. So I then Googled the CVE and just clicked on various different CVE providers. One of them was actually Ubuntu. When we click on it, it loads.
Well, you're not on fiber, are you?
And when it eventually loads,
I can hear the dial-up sound in the background right now.
When it eventually loads, okay, we have it. Again, we have here the CVSS score 7.5. But the important thing, when you go down to references, we have other references, and here we have actually more references than on the GitHub itself. And here it's actually nicely linked, the specific commit that fixes this vulnerability. So when we click on it, let's say this one, then we will see exactly the code.
The code that's actually fixing all that. Very nice.
Wow, you guys are sucking my internet here.
I'll take the blame. Yeah.
I will just continue with the remaining CVEs. I think it's kind of obvious. Then the next CVE is about entropy keyword. Entropy keyword is a new keyword introduced in Suricata 8. But we found an issue that when it's used unbounded, then you might hit segfault or null pointer dereference, which is, again, not very good. On the brighter side, I don't think there are many rules still or already around, like Suricata 8 syntax. So you are very unlikely to hit the bug, but generally the workaround, again, is to upgrade. Don't worry about it, or just disable rules with entropy keyword, if any. To understand the actual use or the case when this bug might happen is we have the generic Suricata rule, and we have message entropy segfold with entropy value larger or equal to 6, but it's not bounded by any sticky buffer. So it's calculating the entropy from the whole packet. And yeah, basically this case might just cause the null pointer dereference and might crash Suricata. So yeah. The next CVE is about the LDAP keyword. There is a specific keyword. It's called LDAP responses attribute type. And when it's binded with the transform keyword, there are some transforms within the Suricata language, like I think like to base 64 or similar. Then it might cause stack-based buffer overflow during the rule reload or startup. So this is not a runtime bug. This is actually a big. That's why this bug is actually the severity of this bug is actually medium, because of course it's not correct that Suricata crashes, but it's if Suricata loads for you and works well for you, then that means you are not vulnerable to this bug in your specific case. This CVE fixes Suricata 8.0 version. So this is not present in Suricata 7.
I must admit, I saw the word segfault here, and it started bringing me back a lot of memories from a long time ago, where it used to be actually quite often that you can get segfault. But I'm talking here like 17 years ago, when the project was just starting and all that stuff. But like this doesn't. That it very rarely, compared to before, very rarely happens now. So I just saw the word segfault. I'm like, wow, it was a while. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
no problem.
often these CVEs, you are very unlikely to even run into them, but yeah, sometimes in some special case, sometimes it might happen. So please
But
do
I mean, just like
report them.
here. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So please do report them. You will be also credited as the CVE submitter or vulnerability submitter. So you will have some karma points for you, and we will improve the projects, right? So
Karma points are very important, actually.
Yeah,
Because
they are.
you know what I mean? So say you want to become part of the circle, that's one way. Karma points will get you there. So we're
Yeah.
looking forward to more of these, actually. Contributions like that are super, super useful.
Okay. Yeah, we
Um,
have I see that question from Bacon. I think we'll save that for the end. So when we get to the point where you're ready to wrap up, you got the question here about writing Suricata rules. So I think that'll be a great way to wrap things up. At least one thing to talk about.
okay, yeah. Okay, so I mean, we are almost at the end. We have last CV ahead of us that's related to TLS subject alternative name. Um, so if rule uses actually the TLS dot subject alt name as the sticky buffer to inspect the certificate, the TLS certificate, and the field is present but it's not filled out, then Suricata might hit again the null pointer dereference or segfault. Again, the workaround for you is to upgrade or disable rules with this specific sticky buffer. I think from what I actually checked, I haven't seen these in Suricata 7, and this CVE is definitely not Suricata 7 related. It just fixes stuff in Suricata 8. And just for the more visual help, here is on the right we have a window open about the details about the TLS certificate. That's basically the stuff that's making sure the HTTPS and similar protocols work. In the details sections, we have the subject alternative name, where we have potentially different names for the authority that signed the certificate. Okay, and some to kind of like to sum it up with some of the useful CVE or security references. I learned a lot when I was at this DEF CON talk about the CVEs, the Suricata advisories. That's the whole collection of CVEs for Suricata itself. I will show this one in a second. Also this one. So Suricata policy is a very interesting document that we have, at least in the repository itself, and it describes how we as a project, so Suricata, view CVEs, their different severity levels, and different support statuses of different features. What support status means, essentially, Suricata is a big project. It's a community project, and sometimes we get
600,000 lines of code, by the way.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's it.
Why, you got more?
If I was writing, I'd have at least
What?
800,000. Yeah.
All right.
We can all catch up with the AI. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of code. That's a big project.
Yeah. So sometimes the features need to be defined with the level of support. Sometimes it's a vendor feature, so vendor should be responsible. Sometimes it's a feature that we support, but it's like high priority and lower priority. That's basically tier 1 and 2. And sometimes it's a community feature, so somebody developed it, but the actual like OSF organization need help maintaining this feature. This is all like security related materials that we have additionally within the repository, and it might be actually useful to go over it. what we see here, majority is actually supported by OSF itself. But let's say when I go down below, there is the Napatic plugin, in where the vendor is responsible, or there are some features that are actually unmaintained and just be left in Suricata at this point there. Okay, I think.
Yeah. So if Lucas, you allow me, I just want to make the one of the biggest points here. So Suricata is widely used by security professionals, by different organizations, by security vendors, pretty much everywhere. And it's like a etalon etiquette of what an open source project should be, meaning open, including the community and all that. And what Lucas walked us through today is actually basically, it doesn't matter whether you have deployed Suricata as a research project or in production or as part of your tooling system or you're a vendor. There is a process that is quite open of how CVEs are handled. There is information, the code is open as well, and there is ways in communication channels that exist there, and the system is supported. So you can actually install with confidence. So that is the main point that I want to make actually here. So there is a process, there is a routine. The only thing that you actually need to do, besides the upgrade, of course, the patching whenever there is an update available, the only thing I need to do is basically become part of the community and part of the notification process, for the forum or for Discord, sign up to Discord and similar things like that. With that, if I may wrap up, we actually, if you want to learn more, including hands-on and meet the team and meet a bunch of other security organizations and professionals that are actually actively using Suricata, and they are enormously beautiful, wise minds and folks, Suricon is the place to be. It always has been, at least for the Suricata community. This year is in November in Montreal, Canada. There are 2-day trainings and 3 different types: rules writing, threat hunting, and advanced deployment. They're all led by industry security professionals on November 16, and then the conference itself is November 19, 20, and 21st. Awesome bunch of people, very cool trainings, extremely nice and knowledgeable speakers, awesome community. If you're around in the area or if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, please welcome. We'll be super happy to see you there. We have 10 years of content on YouTube on archives, by the way, and then the big part here is that there is currently at the moment on Suricon.net there is a extremely good deal on combo of training and a Suricon ticket. So I wouldn't pass that up if I was using Suricata, if I were you watching this live stream. And then, as slide was saying, we actually have the forum and the online chat Discord. Welcome anytime. We're happy to see the community growing. There's always somebody from some corner of the world that is around to either ask a question or answer a question, for example, put it that way around.
Hey, the amazing Travis Green is here, and he's heard that SIGDev training is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The trainers especially with Travis Green, which is one of the trainers there, and Dave Wharton, and Travis has a long background of doing signatures, and I've learned a few tips and tricks for him as well, of course, as many others, and there's 3 awesome trainings, and of course Travis joining here, so that just made his training even more awesome, like awesomeness filled in there.
But I know they were already like responsible for the actual rule set, so you have the opportunity to learn from people who wrote.
Drinking water from the source, as they say. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Jason's here too. Hey, Jason. Thanks for joining.
Hello, Jason.
Yeah, awesome. So Suricon is so just around the corner. November, right? That's the traditional time of year.
Yeah.
North America, Europe. So this would be obviously in Montreal. So this would be the North America edition. That means that if you're in North America, now's your chance. Next year it's back to Europe. So if travel budget's a thing for you, you got to fly across the Atlantic to get there. Unless you're in Europe, now it's your turn to hopefully save on a little bit of travel costs. Yeah, great trainings. I think great opportunities. Travis he's one of the I've done a number of trainings with Travis, and I can equally say I've learned a ton watching him go through the rule writing process. In fact, one of the trainings, Travis came all the way to South Dakota, and we did a workshop at DakotaCon, which is like a B-sides that the university started years ago, and we did some live SIGDev to create some rules and contribute them through the class to the emerging threats rule set. So it was I think a really cool process to walk students through to see not only creating real rules, but then contributing them during the class to the rule set, and watch them now go through that process and into basically into production across the world. So really awesome opportunities there. And
that sounds awesome. This is like exactly what a community should do. I mean, no pressure for Suricon, Travis, but we want to see that process again.
Yeah, sorry, I might have just set the bar for him, but
you said no, but that's awesome.
It was a cool thing. I've got some traffic we could look at. I could throw your way that I don't think has any signatures on it. So if you're interested, I'm more than happy to generate some PCAP and share your way. Bacon asked about writing rules. Exotic, thank you for the response there. Basically it's Yara, but on the network side, and there's some nuances and quirks to it, but I think getting into writing rules, if you're already familiar with Yara, you'll feel pretty comfortable getting into Suricata. I shared a couple of links in the chat. You can go to the Suricata website. There's a learning library that has some getting started. I also, if you're more of a Windows person like I am, I've got a series covering installing the Flare VM, or I'm sorry, Suricata in the Flare VM. This is a little more uncharted territory, right, Peter? Because then you're dealing with Suricata in a Windows environment and MSI installers, but it works, and you can write rules around PCAPs if Windows is more of your workflow. I use it for malware analysis all the time in offline environments. I'm just running PCAPs through it. So it works really well in that regard. So I shared a couple of those links there. You can just find them on my YouTube channel as well if you want to get the Flare VM up and running. Suricata will be added to the Flare VM in the future. So we have an open issue to get that.
Oh, you got
installed.
an ETA or something?
I don't think so. I don't think I have an actual timing, but there is an open issue, and folks or maintainers are working on getting it installed by default. So yeah, you'll have Suri in the Flare VM here, hopefully in the near future.
Because it's a Windows-based distro, right? Or no?
Yeah, that's the Windows.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. So I don't know if that helps your question about writing rules, but a lot of good resources out there to get started. I mean, the read the docs is another just great place to go, and then get some understanding about the rule syntax. I know a number of good videos out there to help. I can dig some more of those up. And just grab some PCAP. I know, Peter, we use a lot of stuff from malware traffic analysis. Brad's I believe, still actively maintaining and sharing PCAPs there.
Yeah, absolutely. There was even one a couple of days ago. Yeah, and there's a few more sources. We actually have a YouTube, like ISF for Suricata. There's if you go to the YouTube channel, there's a webinar that I did there with where to get free PCAPs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a few. If you look around, there's a few. But yeah, definitely.
So yeah, and I know, Bacon, you're in the Discord, so feel free to reach out, start a chat there too if you want more. Suricata has a Discord, so there's another opportunity if you're not forum inclined. Some folks aren't. Let's see. So I think we did what I expected. We were thinking 25 minutes. We've doubled that. So that's the sign of a real pro, that you can take your allotted time and just blow it up, double and triple it. So
we can do better than that, though. I mean, we can go on for the next hour too. That's no issue.
Yeah, we could.
I know for you it's not an issue, but I don't have a problem with it either. So we can just dive in. We see here, Lucas is probably thinking, what are these two up to?
I got used to you guys, so don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, if there are any questions, last call, I guess. Thanks for everyone for joining. Jason, Travis, it's great to see you here. Bacon, always exotic. Thanks for joining. I'm sure I missed a person or two, but if you catch this on the replay, comments are open, so feel free to just continue to add questions here. And if I can't answer them, I will. You've got a very active community. It's not just Peter and Lucas that are the active members. The entire Suricata team, OISF team, and the community beyond that is really active. So the forums are a great place to lurk, especially if you're looking to start writing rules. That might be a great place to just go jump in and ask for help. The Discord there as well. So very open and inviting community. I think it's just a model of how open source can and should be done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Josh. It was a pleasure, and thank you, Lucas, as well.
Yeah, thank you both for joining. I forgot you too. Yeah, thank you for your time. Hopefully we'll do this again at the next release.
Yeah, definitely. Why not?
Okay. All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so I think it's safe to hit end stream. So I'll see y'all in the next stream.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.